the city, the sheriff says, "How's the sheriff working out?" I says, "You know," I said, it hadn't crossed my mind. I've been talking about so much stuff. I said, I'd imagine, I said, have anyone applied for the job? Mm-hmm. And so Larry said, "Well, I don't know about that." I said, "But I've been noticing the paper, so I haven't seen where there was no people of color hired in the sheriff's department." I said, "Well, I'll just go over there." I said, "In fact, I'll go tomorrow." So he said, "Well," says, "my classes are right, says, I'll just go over there with you." I said, "Okay." I said, "It'll be fine. We'll just go over and have a talk with him." And we went over and we talked with him, and the sheriff said, "Well," says, "I haven't had any applicants, no one to apply for the job." I said, "Well," I says, "you know, that won't be no problem because we have people that's looking for jobs." I said, we'll see that you get someone over here, that we have someone over here." And so we did. And it was a guy from Greenville went by over there, and he hired him. Donald Ward, Trigg Ward's, one of Trigg Ward's sons. And well, it worked out well. He stayed with the department a long time over there, you know, without even hearing any problems or any discrepancies or anything about him. Of course, Donald, he's a musician. He played for the Clark Street and still plays for the Clark Street church over there in Greenville, yes. But of course, he no longer works there any longer. But back during that time, we did finally get a black person in the sheriff's department.
Did the meeting with the sheriff's department before he was elected, when he was still campaigning, where did that meeting take place?
Oh, that meeting took place prior to hiring. It took place in Greenville, when Larry and me met with him. But that was in Commerce at Mt.Moriah Church, is where he came down to
so at that point,
solicit people to vote for him.
He was recognizing that he needed the black vote to get in, or that.
Oh yes, he recognized that. Yes.
And so you were representing at that point the Norris Club that had been established at that point.
Yes,
okay.
Norris Community Club. Yes.
So you say to him, "Look, we will vote for you. I will help you get this vote, but you have got to get behind getting some people of color into the sheriff's office."
Yes.
Or, I mean, if they're qualified candidates, and they will be, I'll give you some qualified candidates.
Yes.
And here's one. And so he made good on his promise.
Oh yes, he made good on his promise. Well, most of the people like that, in line with that we would have the opportunity to talk with an audience. Mm-hmm. Now, I've had city managers back in 73, 74, they weren't so cooperative. They would have a tendency to want to lie to me and want to turn something into a joke, you know. So I developed an idea that I would just joke along with them for a little spell, and then I would hit them with a mainline question that I wanted them to. I was looking for an answer to. And of course, when they speak, well, then I would later go over and put it into the newspaper. It was a guy here on campus, Alan Hallmark. He was in the journalism department, and so he joined up. Well, he got to where that he would be with us all the time around whenever we were something were about to happen, that we were trying to get something pushed forward. Well, he would write it. He would write it and put it into in pamphlet form or some form to get it out to the people. And the newspaper would take it and put it in the Commerce Journal and one of the local newspapers here in
Is he still
Greenville,
around?
Alabama.
Alan Hallmark still around the area?
No, Alan, I really hadn't heard from him when he left. He graduated here, and he left and went to, and one of the students was telling me that he was, I can't think of the place now, but he's telling me where that Alan was. Alan Hallmark, that was his name. But he was real good at that. He'd write up some of everything. Well, he was at all of our meetings, even during the time we were discussing something to take before the city council, he was at the meeting talking with us. And, you know, there was a lot of discrepancies, I'll say, in the Norris community that needed to be cleared up because they wouldn't treat the people in the Norris community the same as they did people on the other side of the town. That's why our section of town was so run down. Mm-hmm. And we would talk, we would discuss this in meetings, and the meetings would be held in the churches there. Okay. We'd have different churches that we would go to. We didn't want to, and I would talk with the ministers and ask them about, you know, having a meeting at their church. I said, you know, in certain times, you know, somewhere in the area around 6 or 7 o'clock in the afternoon. If we just come in, sometime before they go into the service, they would let us come in and have a meeting, you know, while all of the membership were there. Because a lot of the membership was members of the Norris Community Club, $1 due. That's why we suggested that just $1 due, because people didn't have much money, you know, per month. Because we didn't rely on those dues to help people in the community. Once we became a non-profit organization, well, we would put on, have a banquet, and we'd go out and speak with the bankers, well, people, all business people in town, and solicit money to do whatever we needed to do. And then we would ask them about donating tickets to come to the banquet. And we would have Donnell Thomas was one of our main speakers that would come from. He was living in Texarkana then. He was a minister, Methodist. He was a Methodist minister at that time. And he would come out at the university out here, and when we'd have a banquet and speak. And of course, we had to have how we would go about being able to get on the campus. Well, I would go to President McDowell, and he would tell me, he said, well, says, you know, we have a policy that off-duty organizations have to pay in order to come. And of course, I explained to him, we don't have no whole lot of money to pay, but we can serve, you know. So he said, well, says, just get it, says, tell them I want it. Mm-hmm. I want the building. And he would let us have the ballroom, Texas ballroom, or some of those. Once I would let him know approximately how many people we need, well, he would go ahead on and he would just get on the line and call and tell them that he wanted that building for that particular night. And we'd go and perform. And Donnell Thomas, he would come, and of course he would speak on mostly what we needed in the community, and he would either be hard on the commissioners or he would be light on them. It depends on how I would speak to him. That's the way that he would address them as to how they had been treating the people in the community club and in the community. Well, then he would arrange his speak around it. And he was an excellent speaker because he was a preacher also. Mm-hmm. And people just loved him. And even when he criticized the city, they still loved him. You have a way of arranging it, you know. And of course now, Donnell, he